Sorry, go ahead, Jared.
Well, when Jesus gave an overall picture in the parable of the sower, he kind of added a caveat to that. He talked about, the parable of the wheat and the tares. He says the kingdom of heaven is, like a field. And he described the tares growing up. And one of the things that's operative in that, he said, an enemy has done this, right? So there is another party, according to Jesus' parable, his Jesus 50,000 foot picture. There's another party that's involved besides humans and God, right? Some sort of enemy that has done this. And I just wanted to throw that in there. And as a Christian, you kind of know who I think the enemy is, right? But that was his interpretation of what's going on.
My ex-wife? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, amen.
Oh,
I love that's my go-to for Calvinists. I'd be like, hey, by the way, you know what Jesus says when he's like, hey, somebody sowed bad seed. I thought you sowed good seed. Should we go pluck up the tares with like I thought and he's like actually no, an enemy has done this. It's like
Jesus is given a theodicy there.
Game over. That's theodicy 101. And Jesus could have said, actually, you know what? God sowed the good and the bad for his glory because he's sovereign. It's not that he's not sovereign, and it's not that he's allowing things not for his glory ultimately, but he didn't say that. He didn't say God does it all. It's sovereignty. Calvinism's true. He said an enemy has done this. And for me, that's like, dude, you can take it or leave it, but stop, bro. Like,
well, God is sovereign. It's just that he wants us to, in his sovereignty, has decided to give us libertarian free will in his sovereignty. That is what his sovereignty declared.
As a wise man once said, and my good friend John Peckham would say, hey, bro, an enemy has done this. And that enemy is not God. Because you know why? Jesus also said, whoever causes one of these little ones to stumble, it would be better to have a millstone cast around his neck or put around his neck and have him cast into the sea. He says, whoever causes these little ones to stumble. That means someone besides God is causing it. It's not God who's causing them to stumble. Otherwise, Jesus and the Father Jesus wants to drown the Father, and that's blasphemy.
Yeah.
Don't you agree, Amber?
What? Sorry, I got distracted by somebody messaging me. So what was the question?
Nick,
my God, I laid my heart out and you ignored me. Oh my, I'm going to tell my wife.
I'm cruel.
I did not take that one personally.
My apologies, Jared. I do. I apologize. I
am so wounded.
Oh, well, thankfully you are a believer and God can heal your broken heart.
Yeah, I'll suck it up, I guess.
Try it one more time. We'll make her go through it again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'll do it. Well, what I was saying is I was kind of trying to add to your 50,000 foot picture, Jesus' interpretation of what's going on, or Jesus' theodicy in the parable of the sowers, in which he said the kingdom of, I'm paraphrasing here because I'm not good at chapter and verse references either, but he said the kingdom of heaven is like this field in which a sower went out to sow wheat, but somebody came in and sowed tares. And Jesus said, an enemy has done this, right? And he's laying the source of evil and the source of rebellion to be on an enemy, not just human beings, which I believe that enemy to be Satan. And Jesus talked about that himself. And
then that enemy is the devil, and it's Satan in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
He calls him a devil in the parable, and then he says that the enemy is the devil. The enemy is Satan, I think.
And so that's the theodicy that's going on. And since I believe Jesus is a infallible interpreter of the Torah, I think that's probably a pretty good interpretation.
Intertextually, I think you're linked to Genesis 3 there. Yeah.
You mean late to Genesis 3? You mean at Proto-Evangelion?
No, I mean that the reference to the enemy has done this. I think that is the deception that is Genesis 3 in the fall.
That's fine.
I don't understand what you mean by I'm late to it.
No, intertextually, that is linked. The parable of the
linked,
tares.
linked. Oh, yeah. Oh, well, yeah, I think Jesus knows what he's doing. Yeah.
Well, you would hope so. Absolutely.
Yeah, since, I don't think so. Since he can make galaxies and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that you see, I think that a lot of what Jesus is doing there, as the author of Torah, telling us how to interpret Torah, I definitely think he knows what he's talking about.
Yes.
Yeah. There's so many motifs. There's so many, I don't know if you call it motif, but like people don't even recognize this. Like in John, when he breathes on them in the upper room, that's the